We had to learn to communicate better. And we both have...
The thing what I don't like about this is last week was a funk, period.
Why didn't you tell me you were having
Can I finish? But let's not act like that we really got some serious damn communication issues, because that's not the damn case.
I gotta pause it.
Because
if you were looking at the two of you, you just admitted y'all both could cut with y'all words. Y'all ain't really listening to each other. This definitely ain't the first time y'all had this argument. And then you claim you don't have communication issues is wild.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia.
Hey, and it's me, Coach T.
And we are two average people. We're gonna do another reaction video today. So let's tune in and see what we got.
All right, let's go.
Things through.
For him to continue to run off like that, it has to stop. You know, especially now more than anybody, life is short. We don't get to control when we're gonna leave this place.
Exactly.
You left and you got on a plane.
Just like you did the day before that.
And you didn't speak.
And you didn't speak the day before that when you got on that plane.
I gave you a church
hug. You chose your church hug, I said I'm holler at you.
So, this is something that I have an issue with. It's that very tit for tat.
Yeah.
You know?
You did it, so I'm
it's like I'm telling you something that I have an issue with, and you're like, well, you did the same thing. Yeah, but I only did this because you did that. I think, first of all, we could probably change the way we approach the situation. So instead of saying, you did this, say, I noticed that this happened and this is the way it made me feel. The goal is not to be like, well, you did it, because you don't get anywhere. You're just going in circles. And so it's how do we work through that? Obviously, so one person's affected.
Yeah.
But you may be affected as well. So how do you work past that, babe? What do you think?
Well, I think working past it is the easy part. Somebody has to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
I don't like that term because it makes it feel like somebody else is being childish.
Right.
In this particular case, I kind of do see it that way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she's bringing it up to him as if he's done something, like, really harsh to her. Except, like, literally, she just did that to him. So right. How does he know, all right, this is just our new normal. This is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
That's when he should have stepped in and go, you know what? I felt the kind of way when you left the other day and did it like that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you your love because I do love you and I appreciate you. Of course, that also sounds sarcastic depending on how it comes out.
Right.
So,
and you need both of you to sometimes be the bigger person.
Yeah, that part.
Either feel like it's always the same one, which then goes to a whole nother
thing.
All right, let's keep watching.
Have a safe flight. That's not healthy.
Why?
You have not called to work things out, and you've been ugly.
I think you think that you're like perfect sometimes, which is funny.
You point that out a lot.
I know for sure I can couple my words, and also my wife can definitely couple her words as well. I think a lot of times my wife does not see that I'm really, truly hurting inside.
Do you want to work through stuff or you want to argue?
I hate arguing.
You say really unkind things, but you don't expect a rebuttal. You just expect to be able to say things and nobody have a response for that.
You can definitely respond, because you always respond. You have a slick mouth. At a very high pitch.
Am I arguing with you now?
You're normally way higher than this, and you get very aggressive and your voice start getting higher.
We have arguments, we're married.
No, I do not.
We have disagreements, and yes, you do.
I do not argue with you.
So, what do you think about that statement, babe? We have arguments, we're married. Because I almost feel like she said it as, this is supposed to happen.
Yeah, and go with me here. I'm looking at him and I'm putting myself in his shoes. To me, it comes across as, it's okay for you, but not okay for me. That's how it comes across. It comes across, you can give me a church hug and that should mean something more. But if I say I holler at you, it's not the same thing. It's totally completely different.
Right.
And I can say what I want to you, but of course, we're married, we're arguing, but you're really ugly and nasty. It's like, it seems like you're both kind of being a little next level. It's not honest.
Yeah. I hope what she was trying to say is healthy disagreement is okay, but I don't think the yelling and the screaming, and definitely not the physical, is necessarily something that you need for a healthy marriage. No. Definitely healthy disagreement. No. Obviously, we've all had our fights that got a little bit of
pepper sauce. A little bit of pepper sauce.
Is it Caribbean? Is it coming out? We try to, you should try to have healthy disagreements.
It's important.
Again, you won't always agree, but
no.
I don't think arguments has to happen necessarily because you're married.
I agree. I think arguments don't have to happen. And at the same time, in this particular instance, it's a really good example of how arguments that could be a big deal don't always have to be loud and physical. Right. Sometimes the things that hurt the worst are you didn't say bye when you left.
Right.
And sometimes they legitimately don't feel good.
Right.
And you know what? That leads to the other stuff, but
yep.
That's where they found themselves.
We had to learn to communicate better. And we both
the thing what I don't like about this is last week was a funk, period.
Why didn't you tell me you were having
Can I finish? But let's not act like that we really got some serious damn communication issues, because that's not the damn case.
I got a
pause.
He's just trying to find a way out of this conversation. Because if you are looking at the two of you, you just admitted y'all both could cut with y'all words. Y'all ain't really listening to each other. This definitely ain't the first time y'all had this argument. And then you claim you don't have communication issues is wild.
Wait, I thought he said they do have communication issues.
Yeah, I thought he's saying don't act like we don't, like we have major communication issues. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's keep going.
Issue started when we started going to counseling, bringing up old stuff.
Tommi and I had a serious disagreement after our counseling session, and instead of working through it, he hopped a flight to Dallas, and we did not speak while he was gone. Tommi and I are both very emotional people, and sometimes a very simple conversation can just be blown out of proportion, a train wreck, because we really don't know how to properly communicate our feelings or our emotions.
We don't had a few hiccups this year based on communications. Absolutely, it's like any other marriage. We're not perfect whatsoever.
At all.
But when I relive something through a counseling session, that's gonna put me in a major funk. And the only reason why it does, because I hate reliving some stuff that I already have forgiven you for.
Forgiving me for?
Oh, see, that's the problem. You think you're perfect. That's why we do not move forward.
My issue with that statement is...
Wait, which statement are you talking about?
The way he said he doesn't want to relive things that he has already forgiven her for.
Right.
But the problem is that's only half of the equation.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I think he's not considering that she may not have dealt with that particular issue, whatever that issue is that he's felt like he's moved on from.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've truly forgiven her, then why does it bring you so much frustration to relive it?
I tell you this, if a person gets cheated on, most people can agree that that's a hurtful experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the woman cheats on the man in this particular case, right? It would be a hurtful thing to relive that. So even if you worked it out,
that's a good point, baby.
Even if you worked it out on your own, you say, we need to go to counseling, I agree. So we go to counseling to relive that. Is still a reliving. It's not a retelling. He said relive.
That's a good point.
You know
what
I'm saying?
Really so point.
I can understand when he's saying it. Now, the more important part to me is the fact that he's saying that. He's saying this situation when dealing with these hard issues in counseling puts me in a bad place. I don't think she heard that in this particular conversation. I don't think she heard that. I also don't think he's hearing a lot of what she has to say. I think they're both listening to respond versus just actively listening. That's a hard thing because if you're both hurting, one person shutting up and just listening actively is hard because you both have, things to say.
Yeah.
Bringing something to your attention is not me saying that I was always right in the situation. It's telling you how I felt or was made to feel, and you were wrong. But I'm definitely not perfect. But that is okay because my flaws and my scars make me the woman that I am today.
You have never asked for my forgiveness for something that you have said to me. Do I need to remind you of some of the things that you have said to me, Toya?
Oh, Tommy, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, Toya, you can cut your little eye, get in your actress mode all you want,
Why
but I'm gonna keep it real
turn into me being
because
an
it
actress?
sounds good. Tommy, you don't want to do that? Yes, the hell I do. I would love to, but let's not do that.
You can't just walk around with bottled up feelings, feeling a way about me of something that I did, but you're not expressing to me. That's not fair. You should probably communicate, hey, I'm not in a good space right now. I'm having a bad day. Guess what I would have done? Comforted you.
Right, okay.
Okay, so I agree with her. I feel like he definitely shouldn't walk around with bottled up feelings. Sometimes, though, you do need a minute to kind of get your thoughts together and your emotions together before you talk about it.
Yes.
And so we have to give space for that. However, the part that I kind of disagree with her on is the fact where she said, well, I would have comforted you. Instead of asking, okay, well, when you are in this space, what is it that you need from me?
From me. She says, I would have comforted you. And he goes, yeah, okay.
Right.
Which tells
in his
me
mind, that's probably what he
tells me that he's attempted that and she tainted.
Yeah.
And she did that one too many times and he's like, never again.
Yeah.
But if you're not communicating certain things to me, then I don't know. You're not even giving me a fair chance.
Right, because I called you and didn't pick up the damn phone.
Tommy, you had just walked out on me and told me you needed some space. So I gave it to you.
I took it. You didn't give me nothing.
Well, if I didn't answer the phone, I gave it to you.
No, I took it.
I took it. No, I gave it to you. No, I took it.
I gave it to you. He's like, well, I walked out, so I took my space. But when he was ready to communicate, she didn't pick up the phone. So now she's like, well, you needed space.
But can you imagine it from his perspective? She's saying you can't walk around with bottled up feelings, but then when he calls, she doesn't pick up the phone. For him, that's like, all right, bet. I'm good then, because I'm a dude. I ain't got to talk about none of this. He goes into that mode, which is not great.
Yeah.
Not great at all. But men have been known to stonewall. I think if they had like some general skills on how to handle a more elevated emotional situation, that they could at least fall back on. Like, hey, we're on step 3. I thought we were on step 2.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
It's the communication piece is the part that that's lacking, because she could have not picked up the phone, which is what she chose to do. But she could also pick up the phone and say, hey, look, you seem like you need some space. Mm-hmm. I'm not ready to talk about this right now.
Absolutely.
So maybe we can set a date and a time that we can both feel ready to have this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and
he could have sent a text when she didn't pick up the phone.
And that too.
He could have said, he'd have written an email. He could have put it in
or she could have texted back, you know,
anything.
But just not saying anything, I think, is what their problem is. And so they're left to their own assumptions about that
the response of the person and
of the other person.
And then they're busy in that whole time winding themselves up. So by the time they get face to face,
it's like, well, you did this, you did that. Well, you did this and you did that.
Yeah,
right?
it devolves into pettiness quickly, even though that might not have been the intention of either one of them.
Or the real issue.
Tommy steadily says the same thing over and over.
LeToya's right all the time. Ain't nothing changed.
It just feels like we're on a hamster wheel.
So, bottom line is, I shouldn't have walked out the car on you like that. So I apologize.
It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that.
He's...
You know,
he's just trying to get out.
It's like, it looks like he's like, I'm gonna just say where I went wrong here. Yeah. But your issue isn't just, I mean, that was one isolated situation, but you guys, it's deeper than that.
It is deeper than that.
They have to get past the very superficial layers before they can even dive into the deep.
Yeah.
What the true issues are.
Yeah, they seem like they need a knockdown, drag out when it comes to that.
Yeah.
To the deep stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're both, by her words, so emotional that these small conversations on the smaller issues become bigger than they need to be.
I ask that you please forgive me for that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I forgive you. From now on, let's be conscious of the way we speak to each other.
Okay.
I think it will create less challenges for us.
Give me a hug.
Okay. Go up, please. That's good. I honestly don't think that Tommi is being sincere with this apology. I feel like he wants this arguing to stop. I don't know if he's necessarily sorry for saying some of the things he said.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too, but he said something earlier that I just noticed. He said, have you noticed that you've never asked like for forgiveness from me for the things you said? And even there, he apologized, whether he meant it or not, but she did no such thing. She didn't even do that.
Which then kind of
reinforces his thought process
of that she feels she's always right.
That she feels she's always right. So then
could be.
So if I'm him, I'm not trying to continue the conversation any further either, because this is going to devolve into this is what you've done wrong your entire life. We're not acknowledging each other. You're acknowledging me, and that's a hard place to be. Now, bigger person takes that on the chin, says it, and moves on.
Yeah.
But he's clearly not in that space.
Yeah.
And clearly she's not either.
She's not either.
Let us know in the comment section what you think about their whole exchange right there.
Yeah.
And we're going to do another part, because I want to see this whole counseling session thing. And what happened there. We're going to do a whole reaction to that as well. There's a lot of lessons to be learned here as married people that, hey, this is kind of important. We got to be able to communicate with each other through the rough times and the good times. You understand what I'm saying? All
right, y'all. We'll catch you on the next one. Remember, love is a choice. It's not easy, but it's always worth it. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.